Hey y'all, it's Burgess Taylor, otherwise known as Journey with Burgess, and today we're going to talk about creative energy, flow, balance, and some other creative life kind of things. And I'm going to give you an update. Happy April. Wow. Okay, so March was a wonderful month in some ways and then not so wonderful in other ways. I've been ditching the guilt over switching planners and things like that. And I also have been giving a lot of thought to my system over the past few months. In January, my father-in-law was in the hospital. At the end of January, on the 30th, my father-in-law passed away. He had cancer. A couple of weeks after that, one of our really close friends died. The latter part of February, halfway through, right before Valentine's Day, I actually went to the doctor on Valentine's Day. I had to take a COVID test, got the news back the next day
that I had COVID.
For all of February, and then probably about the first week of March, I was almost incapacitated. I wasn't really consistent at the beginning of the year. There was so much going on, and I kind of used whatever I had on me. I did a lot of I did some picture taking with some posts for Patreon. I didn't really do any YouTube videos. I think I had one up in January. I'm not even sure if I had any in February. I had chosen the word balance for my word for this year. Every time I turn around, that word or some kind of reference to that word has been popping up all over the place. Things have been out of balance. Sometimes things happen and there's no real explanation for them. They're beyond the realm of our sort of comprehension. You know, it's a coincidence. But other times there's no way. It feels maybe a little bit like a coincidence. And some people used to be superstitious about stuff like that. But nowadays we call it synchronicity, thanks to Carl Jung. I'm going to be reading. I had to write it down because, my ADHD brain is not going to remember it. For a good while, been struggling with creating this sense of balance between work, life, home, mind, body, spirit. I went to the doctor this morning. I ended up with a cortisone shot in my left hip. Yeah, I don't have arthritis in my hips though. It's some kind of itis, some kind of bursitis or something, he said. So I got a cortisone shot. Now, a little while back, I got a cortisone shot in my elbow. Bursitis. Falling apart here, y'all. I'm not sure that there is this perfect balance, that you can find that balance long term, because things shift, things change. And sometimes in life, you need a little bit more life, home, family time. And then at other times, you need more work time. So it's great and easy to have family time, me time, self-care time when you're on vacation or when you're off and you don't have a lot of other things going on. However, when you work for yourself, that doesn't always happen. But I really don't think that you can find a perfect balance, that there is this long-term balance, even if you can find a pretty good sense of balance. I think, however, you can find a decent harmony. A decent harmony can be found, and I think in order to maintain that, you sometimes have to work at it. One of the main reasons that I have needed some semblance of balance, some harmony with things. And when I think about that, I think about music and what harmony means. My husband was in a band. He did acoustic shows, solo. He's a singer and a guitar player. And I remember he was singing with somebody. Somebody was singing sort of backup, and he would not harmonize with David. David kept telling him, we need to get in sync. We need to harmonize. And you could really hear the difference when they don't harmonize. And my husband would get so frustrated. I'm thinking about things working together and in sync. Sometimes, for example, working together and in sync, a harmony instead of a necessarily balance. So sometimes in the mornings, I like to get my cup of coffee. I have my cup of coffee with David. We talk about what we're going to do for the day. He's got to work. He's training somebody or whatever. And then I'm telling him I'm going to film a coffee chat. We're talking about the weather. We're talking about our plans maybe for the rest of the week or for dinner or for family stuff. And then after David leaves, I do the get ready thing, get my second cup of coffee, and I usually sit in the bed or in the recliner and I do my AM journaling, my morning journaling, which is about 2 pages, B6 size. You could call it morning pages. And sometimes I like I said, I do that in the house. And then when I'm done, I go back to the bathroom. I brush my teeth again. I make sure I put my lotion on my face and do that kind of stuff. And then I come get my backpack and I come back out here. My backpack goes back and forth with me into the house. Sometimes it has different things in it. Now, other mornings I wake up and I make my coffee. David's already left. Sometimes I get up right after he's left, or we're just not like, there's not enough time for us to have coffee together. So I make my own pot of coffee because if he takes pretty much the whole pot, you know, after like I have a cup, he has a cup, or he has 2 cups, the rest of it's going with him. I make my coffee. While the coffee's brewing, and it doesn't take very long, I go get dressed, brush my teeth, do that kind of stuff, get my backpack ready. And when the coffee's done, I pour it in my thermos, all but 1 cup of it. I pour the 1 cup in there, get it ready, put my creamer in it, my white chocolate mocha creamer in it. And then I bring my backpack and my thermos and my coffee cup out here, and I start my morning with the journaling and my cup of coffee. Sometimes I don't even drink my cup of coffee in the house. I do it out here. And it depends on my mood. It depends on my creative energy. It depends on my pain level. And I can do that because I do work for myself. But when I'm working, I'm all in usually. And distractions, the phone ringing, alerts from weather stuff, like yesterday with the tornadoes and the storm. A tornado flipped a car in a Walmart parking lot about 40 minutes from here. So anyway, when I'm out here, I'm all in. When I'm in the house, I try to be all in unless I'm doing some creative stuff just for me. And I do that sometimes. While David and I are watching TV, I sit up in the bed and I do some drawing and some sketching. For example, last night I was practicing clouds. And I mean, you could put it however you want to. I was just practicing. But I can't work all the time any more than I can stay in the house and watch Netflix and journal all the time. There has to be some in sync, some balance. I have to, if I want to get stuff done in the house or in the studio, I have to do stuff. And I can't always just do stuff for work. I can't always just do stuff for home. If I didn't do work stuff, then I wouldn't. I don't have anything, to share, nothing. That's not good. Now, there are times, because I do have chronic pain. I do have rheumatoid arthritis and fibromyalgia, and I do have anxiety and depression and ADHD. Boy, that was all a lot. It's a lot. It is a lot. There are some days when just getting up out of the bed and brushing my teeth, or getting up out of the bed and getting some coffee, making the coffee, or taking a shower, any of those things, when that is pretty much all the spoons I have for that day. Which means I have to take into account those kinds of days, the no spoons kinds of days. And sometimes when I have that kind of day, I will do things at my leisure. And I don't mean that in the happy, fun, recreational kind of leisure. I will sometimes, when I have that kind of day, I try to look at things from a different perspective to help. So I don't feel so guilty, or so I don't berate myself, which does happen, that negative self-talk. So having some balance helps with that. Being creative helps with anxiety and depression. There have been all kinds of studies that have shown that. And I'm glad that some of my hobbies and some of what I do on a regular basis, because I don't think of my journaling as a hobby. My journaling is a way of life. It is a part of my life. Now, whatever kind of journaling it is, sometimes it depends. But I've been journaling for 47 years. I'll be 55 in July. I've been journaling for a long time. The one thing that I know for sure is that whenever I don't feel like journaling, I don't feel like being creative, I don't even feel like reading,
there is a problem.
That's one of the things I've been talking about with my therapist in grief counseling. And that balance is necessary in a lot of different areas of my life. It's not just work, life, home. It has to do with the creative things. I'm a writer. I'm an artist. I'm a journaler. I'm a reader. And I don't have time to do every single thing and every single thing every single day. I don't. There's not enough of me or time. I can't take all this time watching Netflix or YouTube videos. On a good day out in the studio, I get into that zone and there's this flow. That zone is the flow. And that flow comes from your creative energy. It's all linked. So I'm filled with this creative energy, and I often will work without taking a break, without going to potty, without eating lunch, without drinking enough water. So one of the things I have started doing, there's a bird on the top of our roof hopping around. I'm sorry, distractions, ADHD. Instead of a squirrel, it's a bird. But I try to keep an extra bottle of water on my desk. I try to set a timer so that I can do things in blocks of times. My watch now tells me it's time to stand. And when it does that, I get up, I move around. I'll usually take 5 minutes to pick up trash or do something like that, move around, and then I go back to work. Sometimes that zone doesn't change, but part of getting into that flow, into that zone, has to do with focus, and we're going to get to that more. It's for my self-care, for my health, and my physical and mental health. I have to do those breaks. I have to get up and stand. It's not good to sit down. That's one of the reasons I'm having some of the problems that I'm having. So I'm filled with this creative energy, and sometimes I work late, sometimes I get up early, sometimes I'm working on weekends. Sometimes I'm abstaining from family things or from social things or from house things because I'm busy. Content creating stuff, being a creative person, especially when you're on your own, anytime you work for yourself, you tend to work harder, you tend to work later, you tend to work longer, and it's hard work. A lot of times that work and everything that you're doing goes without any accolades or recognition. As a matter of fact, your family and friends are going, what? You don't ever spend any time with us. All you do is blah, blah, blah. You don't ever spend any time with us. I never see you. That is a negative part of that. And if you're not careful, sometimes even when you are careful, you can get burnt out. So I think that while it's important to remember that while you're hustling, and I really don't like that word, you also need to try to maintain the energy and at the same time take care of yourself. Make your family a priority. Make your home a priority. Make the studio a priority. Make yourself and self-care a priority. Because you have to take time to learn new things. You have to take time to improve your skills and techniques, as well as stay inspired and motivated yourself. I have this thing on Domestika, and there's a couple of things and I need to watch, and I'm trying to learn Procreate. And sometimes it feels like I don't have time to do that. Because when I'm not filming, I'm editing. When I'm not editing or filming, I'm doing research, or I'm doing stuff to admin stuff, or cleaning the studio, or doing house stuff, family stuff. One of the things, I want her books, but I don't have any. Daniel Laporte said, if you want to do great things, striving for balance is a losing game. I don't think remarkable artists, scientists, activists, entrepreneurs, or generous souls set out on their giving journeys with the aim to be measured and harmonious. Meeting your potential is inherently full of tension, creative tension. Trying to be balanced about it is onerous, and futile. And she is somebody who is definitely an entrepreneur, definitely a creative soul. So with creative life, like I talked about, you know, especially when you're on your own, when you are setting your own hours and things like that. It's harder, I think, to maintain a balance. When I used to work outside of the home, my work hours were set. I didn't take work home with me. But with a creative life, you end up with cycles and seasons, ups and downs, doubts and insecurities, as well as compromise, sacrifice even. Your creative energy comes from that passion. It comes from your love of doing what it is you're doing. You're all into that zone. You don't hear anything. That very passion is often what helps put us into that zone. So part of our creative energy is actually fueled from the flow. It has often been described as the very definition of creative energy. Flow is oftentimes, that's what creative energy is called. When you're in that zone and the flow, you're all in, utterly, completely immersed in what you're doing. Like, do you remember being a little kid and being immersed in the cartoons and your parents are yelling your name and you hear nothing? Phone could ring. As long as the power doesn't go out and the TV's still on, you're good to go. So you're immersed in what you're doing. It's the only time for me that I am ever completely and utterly focused on something like that. I forget to eat. Like I said, I've got ADHD. So being focused like that's why I think journaling and art and stuff like that is meditative to me. It's cathartic. It's like a form of therapy. It's one of the best things I can do whenever I have anxiety. I need to calm down is to do some journaling or to create some doodles or swatch some watercolors. I ignore all the protests from my body, the stomach growling, the bladder, the eyes that are crossing because, I've been focusing too long on a computer screen or on a canvas or a page. I don't think I've given up, though, on finding some semblance of balance. I mean, I've got the rest of the year. We just got into the second quarter of the year. But I'm not striving for this 100%. I'm not striving for measured, structured scales balance where they're like this. That's not the kind of balance I mean. I need for things to work in conjunction with each other and to work in sync for them to be harmonious. I need that kind of balance. I need the kind of balance where on today I'm all in creatively, but I've already went to the doctor. I had coffee with David this morning. I did some journaling and a little bit of planning this morning. While I was in the doctor's office, I was looking through my bullet journal, and we're going to get to this soon. This is the Galen black leather folio, and we're going to talk about that soon. We're also going to talk about this because this is the B5 Odyssey notebook, which I absolutely love. This is the work stuff. So I've got the coffee chat written in here. So a semblance of balance. Most things in life have their counterpart. So we're talking yin yang, good, bad, high, low. For me, it's about staying aware of where my energy is going, my creative and physical and mental and emotional energy, as well as the flow states. Because if I'm easily put into a flow state, if I can easily get into a flow state whenever I sit down to create art, swatch watercolor, do some doodles, then I know that if I am in the need of being inspired to go further, if I need to motivate myself to do more, to show up, then one of the very things that I can do is take some time to swatch some watercolors or to draw some funny doodles. Just practice clouds, practice whatever. Or I can text journal. Sometimes text journaling where I'm just brain dumping or brainstorming. Like if I have a lot of ideas and I don't know where to go, I'm not sure, I can do some brainstorming. Sometimes if I've already come up with the ideas and I've already done some text journaling and I need to get in that flow, I'll start mind mapping things. Flow states are linked what is this greater sense of well-being. One of the studies said also enjoyment and meaning, accomplishment, confidence, progress. Not only does, I think it definitely helps with your mental health. But if you have the good kind of balance and the good kind of flow and the good kind of creative energy, then I think you're going to be more in tune with yourself at the same time. And yeah, sometimes we're going to forget to eat, and sometimes we're going to continue through without ever hearing the phone ring or anything. Real progress comes from flow, but when you're in that, it allows for this richer deeper, better, more quality experience. And that, I think, allows you to get more done, so you have more progress. And it's actually due to progress, but at the same time, it's due to the flow. So this better quality work actually ends, I think it ends up being like sort of, it's the thing of less is more. So I may only spend 4 hours in here, but I've had this creative energy. I've had this flow. So I've been filming. I've got the filming done. I'm good to go with that. I've taken some pictures. I've done some of the admin. I've cleaned for about 20 minutes in here, and I have some other things I need to do. I've got into the flow state and I've made a lot of progress, but I know ADHD, I am not going to be able to film, do admin work, do cleaning work, do journaling, do all these things and edit a video in the same day. Not very often. I can do it sometimes, depending on the kind of video. I can take a break from out here, go have some lunch, go do 30 minutes to an hour or so in the house, go on a doctor's appointment, take a walk, spend some time with my kids, my grandkids, my mom, my husband, family. And then the next morning, I am refreshed. I have refilled my personal well and my creative well, and I'm back at it. And I'm going to get more progress done the next day when I've shown up, because I did some of the work the day before, and now I'm in this fresh frame of mind and I can get the editing done. To me, it's harder to do the editing in the same day because I am hearing what I think I heard, what I want to hear sometimes. Same with writing books and editing. You don't need to spend as much time in the studio or at work or whatever because you're making this kind of progress. You're using your creative energy to its best potential. So for all of you with ADHD, this part right here, according to some, flow follows focus. So that means it is an actual game of attention. Flow has these 4 cycles, these 4 cycles. You have the struggle, and that's while your brain is busy processing, loading, uploading, downloading information. You actually usually are struggling with tasks when your brain is doing that. But the release, then there's the release. So you either relax and take a break, do something else, maybe take a walk, maybe come back to whatever you were doing later, and then you can get into the flow. I mean, there's any number of things. You can just put it to the side till the next day, or you can go take a walk, get some lunch, grab a fresh cup of coffee, whatever. You need to have some time away, the release. So the flow is the third one, and this is the magical place. That's where we get the zone. Our creative energy is doing its job, and we are like all in. Number 4 is recovery. And that flow time, it does actually use a lot of our resources. It uses a lot of us. It takes a lot out of us, our reserves. We need to refill our well. We need to take breaks. And I think one of the important things that I have paid attention to over the past few months, because I was forced to take breaks, I was feeling burnt out and overwhelmed. The last few years have been rough, to say the least. Last month was a 1-year anniversary of my brother's death. October was the 4-year anniversary of my dad's death of cancer. And then my father-in-law died. My cousin died. April was the 2-year anniversary of my cousin's death. If you can take note of when your creative energy is higher or when you're most apt to be creative, AM or PM, is it after meditation? Is it when you're in an open space, when you're outside, when you're out and about, when you're in the shower? You get the ideas. Well, after you get the ideas, sometimes that spurs gets you in the mood to be creative. So that's what prompts our creative energy. Maybe it's when things are quiet. Maybe it's when you're alone. Maybe it's after a walk or some exercise. When is your creative energy at its high place? I'm going to briefly show you this, and then we're going to get to the good thing. This is the B5 Odyssey notebook, and it has work stuff in it. I did set it up very much like a bullet journal because I was actually going to use the B5 for a bullet journal. So I have some blank pages for other things. I had set up March. March I didn't get to do as much as I really wanted to do. However, I did set it up. I did get some things done. I set this up. I've been trying to work on visualizing and manifesting, getting in that space in my mind of the, I'm going to call it the good place. And these are some of the pictures of the good place, of things that actually spur my creative energy, that I feel good about. I was doing pretty good. Like, I did some stuff in March. I did brain dumps, and this I did to get stuff out. I did that. This was the week of the anniversary of my brother's death. And I was talking about journaling. I was talking about the first time I wrote in a journal. This stuff is from Diane Wakely. Diane Wakely. I think that's her name. It's the Art Journal Freedom, and I had one that came from like thrift books or somewhere, and I ended up with two. So I'm using one for journal fodder, and I love it because like I took a Sharpie and I wrote on, she's got some of the writing is hers, but a lot of this is mine. And I took it apart and then collaged stuff in different places in. So then I started doing some stuff, like I was trying to figure out, what do I need from a bullet journal? What do I want in April? Because things weren't really jiving in the B5. The B6 was doing okay, but I felt like I really needed more room. So the solution I knew was an A5, and I ended up putting a picture of the setup. And I was thinking, if I were a new subscriber, a new patron, what would I want from my videos? So I started thinking about the ways to journal and the different types of journals and how I'm using my journals. What do I need? And creativity. And these are some of the things that I'm talking about right now. So I was doing some deep dive into some journaling. This was the prompt to get me talking for that coffee chat for Patreon. I'm going to read the quote. "Your only obligation in any lifetime is to be true to yourself." Richard Bach. And then I did some journaling about what being true to myself means. So being true to myself would be something like being completely honest with myself, how I feel, what I think, my dreams, my flaws, communicating wholeheartedly with myself and others, to be aware, self-aware, to learn to say no, to learn to say yes, to trust my intuition, to stop trying to please others, to know your truth fully and express it authentically. So finding my way back to my journaling, my idea of being true to myself is about being honest with myself, the good, the bad, everything. Not making my pages perfect for others, but to just be, and that's a blank because it's whatever I am in my journals, depending on the journal or the day. So I set up April. And I love this blank. I haven't decided what to put there yet. I mean, I have some quotes, and I thought about putting this here, like, I don't know. But I haven't made up my mind. This is my projects log. This was where I was doing the chat for Patreon, and this is where I was doing something in the video to kind of show them. This is your coffee chat, and then that's it. That's all that's in here. This is not something I work in every single day. I do refer to it sometimes. One of the things that I did for myself, I was trying to figure out, I got ink on my planner. Aha, well, go figure. That's the name of the game. So I don't know that you can see the trolley over there. Let's go back to me. You see the trolley? So I've got an Archer and Olive notebook, a notebook therapy notebook with 160 GSM. One is for astrology and moon stuff, class stuff, because I take Romney's Realms, When Frogs Sing, and I'm in the, the higher astrological thing. I also have a sketchbook. I also have my personal journal. I also have, I'm going to call it a tarot journal. I do some studying of tarot in that journal. There's a lot of other stuff over there. One of the journals, now let's go back. This is a Sojourner, and this is that brown, undyed kind of, I think it was the undyed leather, and I dyed it. And I have a Sojourner folio over there that matches this. And I also have the dark purple one which is somewhere probably over there. Nope, they're right here. Okay. Don't fall down. Please don't fall down. Please don't fall down. I know this seems like a lot because I just mentioned the sketchbook. Like, anyway. I just got finished showing you the B5 Odyssey notebook. So this is a Galen leather notebook, and I was doing all kinds of different things in it. I've been back and forth last year, this year. So this year I started, it is blank Tomo River paper. And I have found myself really wanting to do these doodles in here, practicing doodles. So I put the Hello Spring. This is one of the things I've been watching. I'm doing this. I was inspired by some vellum I ordered from somebody, and instead of putting more summer, I put spring because it's spring. And then I did some more doodles. I need to scan these and make a PDF out of them for Patreon. So this is what I'm doing, and this is not something I go in daily. It's something that I work in whenever I feel the urge to, and this is compact, and I can take it with me. Now, not all of these I'm in daily. This has become my personal journal. I did set up spring in here, including April. I did do that because it's sort of like B5 is the work and project stuff. It's the more of the project kind of thing. The A5 is the whole. This is kind of more for me personally, and I put more personal stuff. And then back here, I've dated, like you can see my journaling. That's personal morning journaling. Okay, and then this is actually was the bullet journal, and then I went back. This is a Nanami Crossfield, but I started putting some brainstorming stuff in here. I started doing creative stuff in here, and I'm not talking about like a coffee chat. I'm talking about the things I want to learn, the things that I'm interested in and doing for the creative journaling course and book I want to write, the book I want to write, and the classes I want to do. I want to create for people. So I'm talking about my journaling and my creativity, and I'm like, this was April's color theme and stuff like that. And I'm being creative in here, and I'm working on things so that I have things in sync, so that when I look back, well, yeah, I can look in the log for the B5 and I know what I wrote for that coffee chat about that subject. And I could do that in here, technically. I could do it in a bullet journal. But I do the coffee chat writing in that B5 because there's so much room and it's easier. But this kind of stuff I have done in the... I actually have it over here. It's it's a studio journal. And started this summer of 2020. I talked about this, I think. And so I'm putting things in here. January, February, we got March. I was doing this thing that I'm doing in the B5 in here. This is the Spring Chronicles. These are my Faber-Castell. So in here, I'm putting the swatches of things. It's anything for the studio that I want to keep long term, and it is a grid composition notebook. So this is not really going to fill up fast, and I'm not in it all the time. I'm just doing stuff that I want to keep long term, so I can look back and go, oh yeah, those are the colors for the Faber-Castells that I have, and the watercolors and the polychromos colored pencils. What else do I need? Figuring out like the different shades and the different colors and the things. These are just post-it notes. This is actually journaling about the creative stuff I'm doing, the ideas I have for it. It's the thought process stuff. The studio journal is the pictures and stuff after. Not that I may not put pictures in here. I may do some pictures and some journaling and stuff like that. But this is the post doing things, where I brainstorm and I get ideas and I mind map and I do all that. That's what this is. This is the dark purple Sojourner. And this is the vibe that I want for the studio where I'm doing the things. And then the B5 journal, bullet journal, is where I'm logging stuff, and I'm probably going to go through that. But the studio notebook is where I am chronicling what gets done in the studio and what I have in the studio. Okay, so this I think I was really loving. I love this cover, but I made it so heavy. I put too many inserts in it, and I think that was the problem. I put too many inserts in it. I need to step back from so many inserts, and I think just have 2 in there, and then when I finish that one, I'll move on to one of the other ones that I have that's not finished, and then when that one's finished, I'll move on to another one, and then at the end of the year, I will figure out whether or not I need more inserts. I really love those inserts from Pebble Stationery, so we'll get to that. But I'm also thinking I might switch back to the actual Traveler's Notebook. The Hobonichi Cousin, it's got a life of its own, and we can talk about it in a whole nother video. I'm still using it. I'm still loving it. I do our home finances. I do work finances in a place that's in here in an insert, but I do home and stuff like that in here. I keep up with anything that's relevant for us for home. If it's something and it has to do with the studio and it's an important kind of thing, I might write it down, but I don't like write down what I do in a day necessarily. I'm not like documenting my day. I'm just documenting me and my life in this on a whole. If there's something major that I do in the studio, then I will document it. But I don't talk about how I did this journaling or I did that journaling, or I worked in this. No, I don't talk about that in there. That's more personal stuff. So we get to the bullet journal, and this pen actually goes in. This pen actually goes in here, and I have an eraser that goes in here, and I don't know where the eraser went. I haven't really figured out what to put. Here because the pens come down. So, I could technically move the pins up some, I guess. I don't know what I could put in there. My earbuds, have the cord, and I technically could put it in there. I have an eraser that I've been putting in there, and I think the eraser works well. Let's see if the eraser is in here. Yes. Okay, so I have some stickers. I have the postcard with the quote that they sent me. Have some stickers in here. This is RB Illustration Studio. These are Sparkle and Shine designs. And then there's the letter that they sent me. I was going to keep this in here, but I found that what I do is I just kind of stick it in there. If I put it all the way, and I can put it in here, it will fit in there, but it does make it kind of chunky. But that's my reference long-term collections. I'm liking it. I've been filling it out slowly, like I'm setting up words. This is in pencil. These are sign of the theme that I want to work on, because I want everything to kind of work together instead of, this month I'm going to do this. My theme is not clouds. Clouds just felt right to me for April. April showers, May flowers. I might switch some things around. So April this month is energy, creative energy. May is flow, and I'm going to continue with this theme because my creative energy has helped get me into flow state, and I need to continue working on the flow state and helping to inspire myself and motivate myself and things like that. So I am working on some of this. I have been canceling some subscriptions. I'm about to put the ones that we do have still in there. And all I have done, I put the little eye there. I have the keychain over here. I'm thinking about actually putting my keychain on it. Maybe. I've got a compass on my keychain right now. So I've got some washi tape things. This one goes here. And this one goes here. Did I miss one? I think this one goes here. Okay. So these are, I put this here. This goes here. Technically it could go behind there, but that's where this goes. And what I've been doing is in this, I'm keeping the one highlighter. My theme for this month is gray, blue, and yellow. So I've got the gray one over here because I use the blue and the yellow a lot for the weather. So here in this, I have my Tombow mono drawing pens and a 01, 03, and 05. I have a mechanical pencil by Rotring and a Tombow mono little eraser with a little tiny tip. And then I have my bullet journal. If y'all are interested, I will do a bullet journal flip. I need to fill out some stuff in here. But as you can see, I've been pretty busy. I'm adding all different kinds of things. This is probably the next thing I'm going to talk about. And this is today. Nope, that was yesterday. This is today. So yeah, if you have any questions, I will try to leave some of the links or most of the links below. Odyssey Notebooks is on Etsy. Sparkle Shine Design is on Etsy. Galen Leather has a website and is on Etsy, and I think Odyssey Notebooks is also has a website. And her Etsy is Sparkle Shine Studios Etsy.com. Odyssey Notebooks, Galen Leather. I love the black. One of the main reasons that I got the black is that I have the mini Sindak. And then I have this, which is by Peganol as well. My hair is all over it. I'm about to switch some things around in this. Both of my backpacks are like a dark red kind of color. And I love the dark red. I really wish this were black leather. The interior is black, kind of the zipper part. This is my journal one, and this is my art one. So let's say I just want to do some journaling, some writing. You know, if I'm just doing, this is the bullet journal one. So I have a ruler. So like I said, this month is blue, yellow, and gray. So I've got the blue and the gray Sarasa fine liners. I've got another eraser by Tombow, and I've got a glue pen. I've got the three different shades of blue and the yellow. My white gel pen, another white pen by Faber-Castell, my Fudnesque pen, and this, which really works well. It's a calligraphy pen. It's by Tombow, and it works really well for lettering as well. And it has a gray. It's like a kind of a dark gray at the end and a black. And I love this thing for doing shadows or highlights or whatever. So this is the bullet journal. This goes with me with the bullet journal. But what I usually do is fold this up. And I do put the pin thing in there. It does make it thicker. It does make it quite thick. I will take this and put this back here. And then you have to kind of lift the pins up a little bit and slide that right in there. This closes. I have to make sure I put my bookmarks in there. I zip it up. I've been practicing. There we go. I've got some of the small watercolor palettes that I can use. I've also got my bigger one. I also have a watercolor palette in here. So depending on what I'm doing, sometimes I'll take this. And I do also have these. One has more fancy colors from Daniel Smith. This is the regular one. And then this one has more of the fancy colors. So sometimes I actually take the both of them. I've even taken all three of these depending on the bag that I'm taking. But sometimes I'll just take this because I can put water in this. Back here, it's the whiskey flask. It's got this. And this has everything but black or neutral tint or Payne's Gray. I can make Payne's Gray though, because I do have the sienna kind of color and I do have blues. So I can make some gray. That's not a problem. And I really like this. You can tell that I use it certain colors quite a bit. This goes on the one journal. I have it off though because I like to sit it on the desk. A lot of times I'll take this and then whatever other journal, Hobonichi or that B6 or whatever, are a couple of them, and I put them in the backpack and I go. Now sometimes when I'm feeling I'll take this one. I need to find out where these little stickers came from that I got. I love those. I love those. That's it, I think. And this is long enough now. So I hope that y'all have a good one. I will see y'all again really soon. Let's see if I can make this a little prettier so that whenever people are looking at my thumbnail, they don't go, what in the hell? All of these don't need to go over there. Okay, we're going to do this. Where's my brush? Okay, y'all. Y'all have a great one. I will see y'all again really soon. Thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to do all the YouTube-y things. Like, comment, share. Really helps the analytics so that people can find me. So I'm recommended, and then other people can find me. Y'all have a great one. I will see y'all again real soon. Bye, y'all.